Smart school is the flagship infrastructure project of this government. But unfortunately for us, it was not properly thought through. You look at the population of every community. Can it carry this? You look at the distance between one community to another. Some wards have 4 communities. God bless our forefathers. You see, one thing is to be brilliant, and that is to be intelligent. They were able to democratize education. But a man who said that he's intelligent is centralizing it. Do you know some smart schools are 11-kilometer radius from where the children are going to access it? Now, this is rainy season. How would they be going to school? When they get to school, they will be exhausted. The food they ate in the morning must have expired. They will start resting before starting their class.
The reason why the 260 was established for each ward. So
that's what I'm trying to tell you.
Because now, the ward is supposed to be the closest political unit.
That is what you think. Because that's why I'm talking. I'm a politician. For instance, in my community, where it is being built, the closest there is my own village. But in that my village, the farthest is like almost 6-7 kilometers to trek children between 6 years to 11 to access education. But they have primary schools nearby that our forefathers created for them to be close. The idea of smart school, unfortunately, was not properly conceived. You say you want to do digital training. It will have been a center of excellence, one per local government. Now, the monies that you are wasting in the smart school is not really a smart school now because they are building under construction. It can only be smart school when it is put in use. So the so-called smart school is not really being used. The edifice is very humongous. Is it primary school? Is it nursery? Is it secondary? The smart school, are there 3 different categories of education?
No, it's going to be accommodating from 3 years
Thank you.
Age
we don't ask questions here. Why would a section of the school will be for primary, another section for secondary, the other one for kindergarten?
That's
without properly fenced.
The basic.
Thank you. It doesn't work that way.
Junior class.
No, we have secondary education separate from primary from nursery. Disaggregate this thing, you are collapsing them. A smart school that you are building that is not fenced. A smart school that the pipeline that is supposed to be teachers are not there. We don't have digital teacher training college anywhere in Enugu. So how would they be taught? Teachers of that high caliber, where will they live? You don't have training quarters for them, staff quarters for them, for the people that are going to manage the school.
Have you been around any of this?
Yes, I'm talking from experience.
Because we understand from the government side, we understand they said
one, the smart school will accommodate the teachers. Yes. They said the provision is there. 2, they said there's going to be a feeding program for the students if we're talking about hunger.
Yes.
And 3, they said they're going to provide transportation system for the students to convert them to and through school.
Let's start from 1. There is no provision. The ones that are built now, there is no place for teachers to live. The one in my village, there is no provision for teachers to live. There is no farm there. You are calling it smart green school. Ordinary solar panel on the roofs, you did not put it.
And you're saying it's smart. The doors don't have sensor. You are saying it's smart. The windows are not smart. The doors are not smart. And you want to do an AI and robotics lab in such a school. And you are voting 146 billion for it. And Katsina and the Lagos did similar to 100 million. Nobody knows how much these schools are costing. You hear 350 million, you hear 500 million, you hear 1.6 billion. Sujimoto came here. Why did Sujimoto not continue with the government? Nobody is telling us that. Sujimoto is a real estate developer in Lagos. He came here. They are good in optics, talking. They follow Sujimoto because he's a big real estate developer. When Sujimoto left Enugu, they didn't tell us why Sujimoto left. There are no consulting engineers in the so-called buildings they are putting on. They compromise school fields. Who does that? Physical education and the mental education go hand in hand. Almost all the smart schools were built at the center of school fields that communities use for their social function. What does it tell you? They have compromised sports. They are not interested in sports development at grassroots. Where would these children play football? Where are they going to run around? You've compromised it. You gave it to political cronies. There are no consulting engineers there. The people supervising the projects are people that read curriculum education. They don't even understand what they are doing. Wait, the project itself should have been inspected by Ministry of Works that have engineers. But I can tell you that Ministry of Work professionals are not inspecting the schools. And that's why they involve local government chairmen. They are doing this half measure. You sit down. In project management, you see the end of a project from the beginning. You think it through. As the project is moving, you will be reflecting back to see whether it is in tandem with the original conceptualization. That is how they run a project. How can you do such a school? It is not fenced. In fact, the challenge of that school started from the architectural design. It is defective. It's like what do they call it? The kind of stadia they used to have in old ancient Italy, where they normally do bull fights.
But then I think as a result of the fact that they have a monitor supervision team, that was what led to the demolition of one of the smart school projects ongoing somewhere in Isuzu, that they discovered that the contractor actually cut corners. So are you saying they don't have qualified hands for monitoring supervision?
Do you know how much has been lost by that collapse they called the demolition?
Yeah, but the contractor is going to be held responsible.
That is what they are telling you. You see, plan a project through. Let there be a consulting engineer at every stage of the project. We are using substandard material because nobody is inspecting anybody. How can you leave a project to get to that level? You say it was when it collapsed that they brought in demolition. It is typical of all their projects, not only smart school.
So what do you think the Commissioner for Works is doing there then? Because it's part of it.
The politics involved does not allow him as a professional to be involved. You can investigate this, you're a journalist. If he were to be involved, he knows what he would have done. But this man is a micromanager. He does not allow. The commissioners are not really working because you can never allow them to work. You don't hear their names anywhere. You hear the SSG, governor, chief of staff, some few people. But how many persons that are supposed to man ministry have you heard their names? And that is why we are having this colossal waste. Who is going to be responsible for the collapse? Amabuna Tachi collapsed the other day, and they tweaked it. The President General got across to us. In fact, the President General, if you search the media, there was a letter he posted there. He collapsed. Amamunato Ward 2 at Chuno. He collapsed. You don't know how many that have such cracks. Their integrity, okay, they are doing integrity tests. Let them publish the ones they've done. Let us see. Who is even conducting the test? He came out with an interesting program of doing 260 smart schools across all the 260 wards in Enugu State. The smart school concept is an interesting one, but unfortunately it is not layered on a solid foundation. You cannot begin digital literacy program by abandoning over 1,200 primary schools, public primary schools, and 300 public secondary schools. You don't force somebody into digital literacy overnight. The ground must be prepared. You prepare it from your government. You prepare it across ministry, department, agencies of government. It has not been prepared. Could you believe that as simple and as easy as websites are, the ministry, department, and agencies of government do not have any websites? The local government areas, they don't have websites. And you want to digitize Enugu without these fundamentals being in place. You've not been able to digitize the Ministry of Education that is supposed to carry this, your digital school concept. The Post-Primary School Management Board does not have a functional website. Post-Primary Secondary Management Board does not have a functional website. So how would you want to digitize the whole state overnight when the fundamentals are not in place? It is always the challenge of persons that believe that top-down approach is the best way to go about things. And it is modeling things up, making a whole lot of things difficult. Now you are building the schools. You've not yet built the schools, but you have already given it the toga, the name of a smart school. A building under construction cannot be called a school, not to talk about calling it a smart school. It becomes smart school when it is fully equipped, when it is fully functional, when the teachers are trained, when the necessary infrastructure, digital infrastructure are in place. But as I speak with you, none of these things are in place. And you are still marketing this project as a smart school concept that you are trying to embark on. It doesn't jive. It doesn't work that way. Until the fundamentals are in place, there is nothing like that. So I will tell you, this is concept of a Enugu digitization, digital economy is a hoax. It's like a digital fraud that does not have foundation anywhere. Because as we speak, none of those schools have been completed. Only very few. When you have 260 and you could not be able to account for 10% after 24 months, will you call it a project? All of them are under construction. If we cannot say 26 of those schools have been completed, 26 out of 260 is even a failure of a colossal magnitude. But you keep on going everywhere, say that you are digitizing Enugu, you are doing that in Enugu, you are running a digital economy, whereas the basic things that are supposed to be there are not on ground. So we have a challenge with that. As novel as the concept is beautiful, but it is something that has to be done in a graduated manner, because you are moving people from a non-digital academic background to a digital academic background at the level of the public schools. Because I can tell you, over 80% of the private schools in Enugu are already doing the smart school concept. He is very much interested in. They have AI, they have machine learning labs, they have robotics labs. But the public schools, it is not in existence. So it will have been a gradual thing. Not to talk about power. Power is a problem. How are you going to power those schools? The roofs of the ones that have been covered does not have a solar panel on them. The local government education authorities do not have a functional website where you will be able to say, these are the number of schools in this local government area. These are the number of teachers in these local government areas. So spending money on PR, on showmanship, on branding, on trying to run Enugu like a company will not work. And we cannot be bamboozled. Neither can the people of Enugu be confused. So the global community should know that all those things His Excellency, Governor Peter Mbah is saying in Enugu is just in the conjecture and the realms of imagination for now, because they are not on the ground.